This Week in History.
Three, two, one, zero, and liftoff.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
All right, Johnny, I am still wearing from the Boston Massacre episode my tri-corner hat here.
You're
Because-
looking good.
Both things I got for us this week, Johnny, are Revolutionary War related.
Nothing. The only events that happened in the history of the world this week
This week
were the
Revolutionary
American
War.
Revolutionary War related. Okay.
And they're both related to spies. So great. Spies are traitors. Great. And they both happen on the 21st night of September, Johnny. Do you remember? The 21st night of September.
Yeah, you sent me that. You posted it on your Facebook. You sent me a whole thing. I saw things on the internet. I felt so. I've never felt more left out of something, having understood it less than that.
You're not a big Earth, Wind, and Fire from the 70s fan?
No, like I've heard the song. Like when did that become a thing?
We're dancing in September. All right. Anyways, Nathan Hall, who is an American spy, was caught by the British on September 21st, 1776.
All right. So September 21st, 1776.
Yeah.
When did the Revolutionary War kick off? Remind me.
Well, it depends on what you want to declare as a Revolutionary War. It really, in some regards, the issues extend. I will say the issues extend all the way back to at least 1768 with the Townsend Act.
Right. No, but
that's when issues start. Like the British forces have to come in and shots are fired.
My question is when was war announced, declared?
I don't. I'd have to look that up because I don't know if there was ever a formal declaration of war. Because, like in the Civil War, there was never a formal declaration because, in order to declare war, you'd have to acknowledge that country's existence. So in order for Britain to declare war on the American colonies, they would have to acknowledge that the American colonies existed.
So that kind of defeats the purpose of
for the Union to
uprising.
To declare war against the Confederacy, they would have to acknowledge that the Confederacy exists. So there was never actually, I don't know. There might have been. I don't know.
I guess my real question, were they kind of in the thick of it during this?
Yeah, so before our Declaration of Independence, even before we decided as 13 colonies to declare independence, New York was already under war. Boston was already under war. These local militias were already fighting the Redcoats in the field. So shots are already being fired.
Yeah.
And by, September 21st, Declaration of Independence has already happened. We are officially at war.
Okay, so we're in there. All right.
Yes. Or maybe not officially, depending on whether. Anyways, not the point.
In any case,
so
we're in the thick of it. Stuff has been happening. This isn't
shots have been fired. Yeah. So prior to the Revolutionary War, Nathan Hall was a teacher in New London, and he was a graduate of honors at Yale. So not at all privileged. He was convinced to join the revolution by a classmate of his by the name of Benjamin Talmage, who was also in kind of the spy ring, intelligence ring. There was multiple intelligence spy rings during the Revolutionary War. It's actually really interesting to learn about some of that. Turn, which is a show, I think, by AMC, is a really good show to watch if you're kind of into that, like, early spies, Rev War kind of stuff.
Yeah, I always love it. This basically always breaks down to college-age kids just being like, let's go play a game.
That's what it is. He was a part of the Knowlton's Rangers, which was the first organized intelligence service by the United States Army, and was led by a Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Knowlton. He volunteered on September 8, 1776, to go behind enemy lines and report on British troop movements in New York, which he knew going into it, if he was caught, it is death penalty. If you're a spy, death penalty.
Yep. Treason.
High
treason.
High treason on September 12th.
The highest of treasons.
The highest. On September 12th, Hale would arrive in British-controlled Long Island, and he planned to disguise himself as a Dutch school teacher looking for work, which he did find some work, although not the most successful, because on the 21st of September, Lower Manhattan would burn, and it was blamed on the spies.
Uh-oh.
Washington admitted that burning the city was part of his plan to retreat, but he said, we didn't actually go through with it. It wasn't us, I swear. Wink!
There was a big, guys, I swear I was thinking about it. I had planned it. We wrote it all out. We told everybody, but we didn't do it.
We didn't do it. That night, Hale would be recognized at a pub by a British loyalist who would turn him in. Said, "Hey, you're not Dutch. You went to Yale, didn't you?"
What's this jackass doing in a pub?
Right? If you're a spy, why are you in a pub? Go home. Teach your kids, go home. Teach your kids, go
Yeah.
home. Why are you in a pub?
Do your fucking job, pal.
He was hung the next day on September 22nd and reportedly
Wow,
his last
that's
words,
quick.
quick, yeah, it was quick. You're a spy, hang him. His last words were reportedly, and we all know about last words, like,
Right.
was, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." All right, calm down, bitch. Your country doesn't exist officially yet. So
Yeah, I'm gonna guess
you
his
gotta win a
last
war.
words were actually.
As he's being hung. There were also like 4 sites in New York that claimed to be like the site where he was hung. So
It's all a bunch of tourist traps now, anyway.
we're the real Marco's Pizza.
I swear we killed the guy here best.
Now, my last thing I have for us today, Johnny, is that Brigadier General Benedict Arnold, name should ring a bell, would
Speaking
betray
of
American.
traitors,
Yeah, he's a traitor. He would betray the American forces by turning over plans for West Point to British forces on September 21st, September 21st, 1780. So, do you remember?
so why did he do this?
So I want to actually do an episode on Benedict Arnold
On
because
cowards and traitors and treasonous villains,
well,
Tommy?
because again, what we're taught in school is very brief. Like he was a
He's
general in the American forces, and he betrayed us for no reason at
the
all.
worst. Hang him! Hang him! Off with his
Wow.
head, Tommy.
So, in a very brief, not to disturb a future episode, in very brief, he was an officer in the American forces during the Revolution. He was snubbed over and over and over again for promotion or for credit. He would lead several successful raids on forts, take over these forts, and then some other guy would be given the credit for it. Like, now we did it, but you didn't do it. I did it. I fought. I took it. And he would like get passed over for promotion. Like these other guys that came in after the fort was taken over, and be like, "I did it," and they'd be like, "Good job. Here's a promotion." And Benedict Arnold, the guy who actually did it, was like, "What the fuck?
Sounds to me.
What?"
It sounds to me like his superior officers were being smart because you don't promote effective people.
Right?
Like that's no way to run a business. If somebody's effective, you gotta keep them keeping on. Like they do what they do, and then you promote the other people to get them out of the way and kind of shoo them away from the actual life of whatever it is your business is doing.
He was a bit pompous, and he got involved in the Philadelphia elitist scene, and a lot of them were loyalists. I believe he actually winds up marrying a loyalist woman, or at least questionable loyalty woman.
And that doesn't of questionable loyalty.
Questionable
Am
loyalty.
I saying?
That doesn't help him very much in this whole like promote me, I am loyal to you. As early as July 1779, he gets a little pissed off at the government, and he starts passing unit size and movement information to the British. But Washington liked him and trusted him and put him in command of West Point in 1780 after the guy is acquitted of treason charges for like war profiteering. Like they bring him up on court-martial charges of war profiteering. They drop, he's acquitted of those charges, and Washington goes, "You know what?
I like the guy.
That's my guy to lead Fort West Point."
I like him. He's got a lot of gusto.
That's the other thing we do a horrible job of teaching about history. Washington was a fucking moron. He was not a good officer. He was not a good general. He made an ass ton of mistakes, got lucky 1 or 2 times, and we're like, he's the best person in the world.
Okay. When we do our best person in the world bracket, you go ahead and try to keep him off of it. He discovered America, Tommy. He's the reason we have everything we have today. Have you heard of the American dream? The dream that everybody else in the entire civilized world dreams of? That's thanks to George Washington.
Right? All right. Well,
deal with it. Sorry that you hate America, Tommy.
Well,
you're our podcast, Benedict Arnold. That's what you are.
While being over West Point, Benedict Arnold meets up with the British Major John Andre, and begins plotting the surrender of West Point to the British forces. On September 21st, they plan a meetup. But in the interim, Major John Andre, gets arrested by the American Culpeper Ring, which is one of the big spy rings. I believe that's what Turn is based on. And they pick him up. When they pick him up, they find all these documents written by Benedict Arnold about, yeah, hey, I'll surrender you for 40 acres and a mule or some shit like that.
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh. That's a problem for old Benny.
That's a problem for him, because on the 24th, when Benedict hears that Andre's been arrested, he's supposed to meet with George Washington for breakfast tea. He goes, "Oh fuck, Andre's been arrested. That might bite me in the ass." And he hightails it the fuck out of there. Goes to New York and he goes, "Hey British, I'm on your side."
Oh man, that's brilliant. I love the cojones on this guy. Real man of his word.
Right? Washington tries initially to do a prisoner exchange with Andre and Benedict because he wants Benedict back so he can,
So who's he trying to give up?
He's trying to give up Major John Andre, who's a British officer that Benedict Arnold was collaborating with.
Yeah.
It
so
doesn't
like, hey,
go well.
you got our traitor, we got yours type of deal.
Kind of. Well, Andre wasn't a traitor. Andre was like negotiating the terms of the surrender.
Okay.
All right. In the plans of the fort, basically, Benedict Arnold gave look, we'll surrender, and in case we don't, here's all the plans to the fort. Here's the weaknesses,
Yeah. Our blueprints.
That kind of thing. Our blueprints.
You can find the vent shafts to sneak in through and lower your guy down onto the secrets.
That never pans out, so they wind up just hanging Andre in October.
Nah, what are you gonna do? Oh, you won't take him? All right, we'll hang him for you.
He then tries to actually use the Culpeper Ring to capture Benedict Arnold on multiple occasions and is never successful. You might
capture him, where's Benedict?
He's in New York. He's in New York, and
in a house.
As a reward for all the spying against the Americans for the British, Benedict Arnold is rewarded as a promotion to brigadier general. So before this, he was a major, he was a major general, maybe a lower level rank general. He's now brigadier general. The British are like, you want a promotion? Here's your promotion. They give him an annual pension of £360, which today is £65,000. So not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
He's also given a sign-on bonus of £6,000, which is equivalent to a little over £1 million. They gave him £1 million. They're like, here you go, thank you.
Fuck your salary. I'll take that sign-on bonus and I'm a bounce.
So yeah, he turns coat. He fights for the British, and they treat him a little bit better than we did.
And he becomes the absolute definition of a traitor against America.
Traitor. If you're an asshole, you're Benedict. Benedict Arnold.
You're a Benedict.
My ex-wife,
Arnold.
Benedict Arnold, me.
No, it was worse. And that's This Week in History.